they're doing this?
Well,
I mean, there's always an ulterior motive for all that crazy
Well, that's the major
stuff.
question, and if it has anything to do with the recruiting lull, they probably just made it worse. They called over 800 generals from their stations all around the world, demanding that they all come here. Now, why would you also televise that all of our generals have left their posts?
And are in one place.
Yeah, or in one place. Like, I don't get it. And then there's an estimated $6 million that we, taxpayers, we paid for their travel, lodging, and security when we all learned a few years ago you can do it all on Zoom. So I don't know, because some of the messages were, as Joy mentioned, don't be fat, shave your beard, go back to hazing people. You know, I know if
against each other.
Well, hazing the younger people, but knowing military, one of its most beautiful things, and the reason it's probably always been the strongest in the world, is there's a rank and file. My dad went to Valley Forge Military Academy. He served in Vietnam. There's a pride to their service and their rank and file. These are the tip top of the military line, listening to someone give kind of a knockoff TED talk about something, and I still haven't figured out what it is. I think it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time, and do they know the government might be shutting down tonight, and we are paying money to make it a mandatory meeting to hear from Pete Hegseth?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for joining. Hope you're having a good one out there and staying safe. In some places, staying cool. In other places, enjoying that beautiful fall weather.
I'm baking like a toasted cheese here. It's so hot here.
All right, we got another one here for you. We've got the speech that happened just a couple of days ago, where all the military generals, I think this was on Tuesday, all the military generals came to Quantico and you know, obviously listened to a speech by Pete Hegseth, General Raising Cane. That dude's awesome. And then we got Donald Trump as well. Trump's speech was, I mean, it was just Trump. You can, you know, you get what you get when it comes to Trump. Although he did make an incredible joke, something about like, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave, but there goes your future, there goes your career. It was a great joke. And there was actually some audible laughs in the room. We're going to take a look at some of the videos and some of those clips of just some really great comments by Pete Hegseth, and then some of the, you guys love The View. Don't we love The View? Some of the comments that they made about, you know, this, some of the comments that they made about this. Now, there's like criticism of like, why are you making all the generals come to sit in a room together, right? Well, I mean, you gotta remember, like, it is always best and better to be in person. You know, some people say this could have been an email, this could have been a Teams call. No. There is collaboration, there is participation when people are in a room. That's why people prefer to go to church together and be in one building, because there's collaboration, there's encouragement, there's fellowship, there's getting to know people when you're in a room. And especially for the military, because it's all about collaboration in the military, how to defeat your enemies, how to improve on systems, how to improve processes. You know, what are you doing for recruiting? What are you doing for just in general? Like, it's best to always be present in a room with your people than on a Teams call, because a lot is lost in a Teams call. People tend to doze off, people tend to daydream, they zone out, maybe they start focusing on something else, they start looking at their phone. But when you're in person, there's a difference. So we're going to look at some of these clips that are pretty awesome. Let's start with
with physical fitness and appearance. If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT, so can every member of our joint force.
Let's go.
Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are.
Yeah.
So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year, as well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year. Every year of service.
Let's go.
Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already.
Man, that's great.
With physical
Here's the actually entire speech. If you have not watched the entire speech, I actually listened. So I listened to it all. Just like cooking or something. Incredible. Spot on. Such a great communicator. Knows what he's talking about. He gets a lot of flack that he doesn't have all the military experience that he needs. I think he was like in the National Guard or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. For 20 years. But he wrote that book, The War on Warriors. I haven't personally read it, but I do plan on reading that book. And he has a lot of really great things to say with, one, the warrior ethos, the warrior mentality, how to treat your soldiers, how to make them a lethal fighting force, because you are in the military. Your focus is killing the enemy. Deterring as well, but killing the enemy to hopefully bring about peace. No one likes war. But in order to preserve peace, you must prepare for war. So a really great speech. Encourage you to watch it. Let's take a few look at some of these other clips.
But if the words I'm speaking today are making your heart sink, then you should do the honorable thing and resign. We would thank you for your service.
Oof.
But I suspect, I know, the overwhelming majority of you feel the opposite. These words make your hearts full. You love the War Department because you love what you do, the profession of arms. You are hereby liberated to be an apolitical, hard-charging, no-nonsense, constitutional leader that you joined the military to be. We need you locked in on the M.
Yeah, let's go.
Not the D,
That's right.
the E, or the I. Not the DEI or the DIE of dime. By that I mean the M, military, of the instruments of national power. But if the
let's
words
go.
I'm speaking today...
If you want DEI and you want that in the military, you are going to cause DIE for your people, because they will not have the tools, the resources, the preparation, the operational experience, because there's been too much focus on the cultural nonsense. In the military, we don't need that. That's crazy that this has been going on. This whole, what it's been told to me is the military is the guinea pig for what is going on in culture. So, all this ridiculous training on the woke stuff, for example. What? Have you seen what our adversaries are doing? Have you seen what, like, for example, China? Have you seen some of those videos? If you haven't, I encourage you to look those up. They are not messing around. They are in it to win it. And so then we should be the same as the largest military on the planet, as the holder of some of the most elite fighting forces and operators on the planet. We should be solely focused on winning and frankly taking out the enemy efficiently.
Combatant commanders and other commanders. The rationale for me has been straightforward. It's nearly impossible to change a culture with the same people who helped create or even benefited from that culture, even if that culture was created by a previous president and previous secretary. My approach has been simple. When in doubt, assess the situation, follow your gut, and if it's the best for the military, make a change. We all serve at the pleasure of the president every single day.
Yeah.
But in many ways, it's not their fault. It's not your fault. As foolish and reckless as the woke department was, those officers were following elected political leadership. An entire generation of generals and admirals were told that they must parrot the insane fallacy that, quote, our diversity is our strength. Of course, we know our unity is our strength.
That's correct.
They had to put out dizzying DEI and LGBTQI plus statements. They were told females and males are the same thing, or that males who think they're females is totally normal. They were told that we need a green fleet and electric tanks. They were told to kick out Americans who refuse an emergency vaccine. They followed civilian policies set by foolish and reckless political leaders. Our job, my job, has been to determine which leaders simply did what they must to answer the prerogatives of civilian leadership, and which leaders are truly invested in the woke department, and therefore incapable of embracing the War Department and executing new lawful orders. That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah, let's go.
The walking on eggshells and zero defect command culture. A risk-averse culture means officers execute not to lose instead of to win. A risk-averse culture means NCOs are not empowered to enforce standards. Commanders and NCOs don't take necessary risks or make tough adjustments for fear of rocking the boat or making mistakes. A blemish-free record is what peacetime leaders covet the most, which is the worst of all incentives. We, as senior leaders, need to end the poisonous culture of risk aversion and empower our NCOs at all levels to enforce standards. Truth be told, for the most part, we don't need new standards. We just need to reestablish a culture where enforcing standards is possible.
Yeah.
And that's why today, at my direction, I'm issuing new policies that will overhaul the IG, EO, and MEO processes.
Let's go.
I call it the no more walking on eggshells policy. We are liberating commanders and NCOs. We are liberating you.
Let's go.
We are overhauling an inspector general process, the IG, that has been weaponized, putting complainers, ideologues, and poor performers in the driver's seat. We're doing the same with the equal opportunity and military equal opportunity policies, the EO and MEO at our department. No more frivolous complaints, no more anonymous complaints, no more repeat complainants, no more smearing reputations, no more endless waiting, no more legal limbo, no more sidetracking careers, no more walking on eggshells.
Yeah, let's go.
Of course,
this is the military.
Being a racist has been illegal in our formation since 1948.
Here's what I don't get. You are in the military. We don't care about coddling you and your feelings. You are joining the military, an army, right? Whether it's the Marines or the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Coast Guard, now Space Force. Like, you're joining a military fighting force that combats adversaries, enemies. There's no time for this coddling. It's, this is what you have to do. This is what you need to do. You can't do it. You're out. That's what it, like, I don't get why the uproar with a lot of these changes that are being passed down, from the Pentagon, from the DOW. I don't get what the issue is. These are great. And I think that if you would ask any rational person, any normal person, whether veteran or currently enlisted, they'd say these are actually great. These are great orders that are coming down from the top to instill changes. And I think it just has to do with culture generally. We've coddled all these young kids for so long and always cared about their little feelings and not ever feeling empowered to just be direct towards them and tell them how it is. Like, you got a culture like that with that sort of mentality. Yeah, I understand that you're going to get some pushback, but we ain't got time for that. We don't. I want to play one more here.
War does not care if you're a man or a woman.
Yes.
Neither does the enemy.
Yeah.
Nor does the weight of your rucksack, the size of an artillery round, or the body weight of a casualty on the battlefield who must be carried.
You ask those that are fighting in Ukraine right now, which that is a tragedy of just what's going on over there and all the lives being lost on a daily basis. Something like 100 Ukrainian soldiers being killed every single day. I don't know what it is on the Russian side. War does not care if you're a man or a woman. the size of the artillery rounds, your body weight, what you look like. No one gives a flip. What matters is if you can perform the job. Do the job.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not playing games.
That's right.
This is combat. This is life or death.
Man, again, I encourage you guys
you
to watch all of this. This is some really, really good stuff. And like there's the grooming standards. I mean, personally, I like my beard. I'd rather not shave it. And my wife says I look way more prettier with it. But I mean, and I get, you know, those that have invested in how they look and their beard and stuff like that, they don't want to shave it. Okay, well then you can leave, you can pursue another profession. But especially for those that are serving in combat, you've got to wear those gas masks or whatever those things are called. I think they're right, gas masks, and you have to have a great seal. You can only do that with skin to mask. You can't have hair in between. But man, I encourage you guys to watch this. We're gonna take a look at what Sonny Sonny from The View had to say about this. Golly, some of the craziest comments come from these people.
That part. I'm actually really befuddled by why he did that. The optics were terrible, meaning all of our top military brass are all in one place, and we spent $6 million to get them there. That didn't make a lot of sense to me. It also didn't make a lot of sense to me that he was saying that he was going to toughen physical standards and review the anti-hazing policy by sort of implementing a hazing policy. And then also he said he was going to return to the highest male standard for combat positions because the troops were fat.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that was supposed to be an uplifting message for our military.
Maybe he's referring to Colonel Sanders.
It was really a bizarre thing. He started talking about woke DEI policies. By the way, there are no gender quotas in the military. By the way, he fired more than a dozen military leaders, many of them people of color and women. He fired the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, General Charles Brown Jr., who is African-American. Yeah. He fired the first woman to command the Navy, Admiral Lisa Franchetti. I don't understand the sort of hypocrisy of firing these people, having all these people meet together and then denigrating them.
But did you look at it? They look. I
don't know why anyone thinks that they should be taking advice from this lady or from any of these cackling hens, is what Officer Tatum calls them. They are not, I mean, because we're going to take advice from Sonny Hostin on what should and should not be done and what actually matters. Nah, man, she has no experience. She makes $6 million, $10 million a year from this show, sitting in a chair, giving opinions and sharing what she thinks about something with no experience when it comes to actual combat and defeating an enemy, for example. So it's like, okay, why are we going to listen to you? Like, your opinion does not matter in this case, especially in this case does not matter.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
When it comes to things in the military, like, you have no say-so. You have no say-so. You have no idea what it's like. And also, when she was mentioning those generals and those admirals that were fired, that's because they were being divisive. They weren't following orders. There's articles about it. And I encourage you guys to look those up and do some research for yourself. But they were not following the orders that were being passed down from the Pentagon or the DOW in this case. DOD back then, DOW now. But so yeah, you're gonna get fired if your focus is DEI, and that's what you care about more than actually preparing a great unified fighting force. You don't need to be in that position. You don't need to be in leadership. That's toxic leadership. One last thing I want to share, and something that was super inspirational, is a prayer that was at the end of Pete Hegseth's speech.
In closing, a few weeks ago, at our monthly Pentagon Christian prayer service, I recited a commander's prayer. It's a simple yet meaningful prayer for wisdom for commanders and leaders. I encourage you to look it up if you've never seen it. But the prayer, it ends like this. And most of all, Lord, please keep my soldiers safe. Lead them, guide them, protect them, watch over them. And as you gave all of yourself for me, help me give all of myself for them. And amen. I have prayed this prayer many times since I've had the privilege of being your secretary. And I will continue to pray this prayer for each of you as you command and lead our nation's finest. Go forth and do good things, hard things. President Trump has your back, and so do I. And you'll hear from him shortly.
Man.
Move out and draw fire, because we are the War Department. Godspeed.
Room, attention.
Man, that gave me goosebumps. That was incredible. God, what a speech. This dude is inspirational. And that's why they have record recruiting numbers, and they've met all of their numbers. Before the year has even ended, they've met their recruiting numbers for the year of 25. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was for all the branches. Inspirational when you have inspiring leaders that will motivate you, leaders that will push you to excel, leaders that will want you to thrive in your roles and keep moving upwards, keep climbing that ladder. Dude, you want to serve under those type of visionary, inspirational leaders. You want to. That goes for, that's just been throughout history. People want to serve under leaders that are inspiring, that are motivating, that have vision and clear goals and a clear mission, and how you may not know always how to execute, but that's where teamwork comes into play. That's where this unity factor that he was talking about, we're not about diversity. It's about unity. Unity. Anyways, well, thanks again so much, guys, for joining. Hope you guys have a good one, and y'all take care.